I'm your final, bitches!
Stop trading with Fred!
Hi everybody, Tweek here. Because I'm unable to make the podcast again this week as I have other priorities, I still wanted to at least get 5 minutes of Tweek in here because I don't think anybody wants to listen to 11 more minutes of somebody trying to be the crappy sports analysis guy, Colin Coward. It doesn't work, by the way. But before we do that, don't mean to insult my boy Tomo Commish over there, but just had to get that off my chest right there. Terrible 11 minutes. Don't do that again. But let's get right into it. So with only 4 weeks left in the regular season, the playoff picture is becoming more and more clear. We have the two top of the table teams most unexpectedly after draft day. A lot of their draft picks panned out for them. You have Tommy D up there in first place, followed by Sebi. Like, what more can we say about those two teams? They probably have the two best lineups, and they have pretty much destroyed the competition week after week after week. And again, it's absurd that they actually have a loss. After that, we have Dave Miner, who most likely has a playoff spot, but he's 6-3 right now, so anything's possible. You can lose a couple more games, and then you got the Seb matchup in a couple weeks, and you find yourself right outside of the playoff spot. And then rounding out that, you have myself, Fred, and Kolajay all at 5-4. I'm the 4 seed by points, followed by Kolajay and Fred in some order, however that works. But those are the 6 playoff teams as of right now. And right behind them, one game out, is Jen and the commish, Tommy VC, who surprisingly, by the way, is on a nice winning streak, winning all these games in a row, winning his past 3 weeks. Very nice. But as alluded to in last week's podcast via Tom, that Seb's matchup in just 3 weeks is going to be very pivotal on who makes the playoffs and who doesn't. Like, after Jen and Tommy, or Tom, every team is straight up garbage and trash. Like, Alo changed his team name to Straight Trash Homie because even he knows that he has one good player on his team and everybody else is pretty much the scrubbiest third string scrubs you could find. You have Sol, who's 2-7 and can't do anything right, has the least amount of points in the league. You have Brian Ramos, who hasn't done much at all this season, and you have Louie, who somehow has 3 wins this year, one of them against Tommy. Just saying right there. But you have 4 genuinely crappy teams that Seb can choose who he wants to play. Does he want to play Solus? Does he want to play Alo? Does he want to play, I don't know, does he want to play me? If I'm not mistaken, Todd Gurley's on bye. Why not pick up another cheap win and knock Tweek out of the playoffs? Or you're going to try to save that for Tommy D this year. But these playoff pictures, as it seems, are almost already decided, and it looks like we have 8 teams vying for 6 spots right now. And pretty much 2 are decided. I'm not sure if they're going to be asterisked come Tuesday or Wednesday, but pretty much decided that Seb and Tommy D are most likely definitely in the playoffs. I do think that Dave can make the playoffs at 6-3. He's just got to win 1 or 2 more games. Very easy for him. I'm sure Seb will throw him a bone since, you know, Seb's that kind of guy to help out former league winners. So, by that standard, he's going to help out Kolajay as well, who's fighting there for a playoff spot. But, you know, it's really tough to see these these teams ranked 4 through 8 and who's going to get in and who's not. I think as me and Tom Kamish alluded to several podcasts ago, Freddie's team is the weakest on paper, and I think that it's going to be really tough as he only has a couple strong components on his team, mainly his running backs, and everyone else is very big boom or big bust. So I think that Fred has a good chance to miss the playoffs, though he's currently in the playoffs. I think that Kolej can still make that playoff run and make the playoffs, and I think that I also have one of the best teams in fantasy. I have motherfucking Todd Gurley. I have the Eagles connection, and it's frustrating about my losses, but I feel that I can get up there into the playoffs, which means that we got one playoff position between either Jen or Kamish. And I think that playoff spot's going to go to the one who has the most experience, the one who's been in the league the longest, the one who is the commissioner of the league. I think that Tom O can make the playoffs despite his terrible beginning of the season, because it doesn't matter how you start the season. It's how you finish the season. It's how you're streaking upward right now. You're on a 3-game winning streak. Jen's on a 3-game losing streak. Like, if you look at it that way, I feel you have a very winnable matchup this week, Tom. And when you win that game, you're just going to keep climbing upward and upward. And I think that you have the best possibility to make the playoffs. So it's honestly going to come down to Seb's decision in 3 weeks on who's going to play who. But based off of that, it looks like we have our 6 playoff teams right there. I got Tommy D number 1 and Sebi number 2. Both those teams getting the bye. Followed by Dave Miner, Kolej, myself, and then Tom O, rounding out those top 6 teams. It's going to be a really interesting last few weeks, because bye weeks are still going to be into full effect. So teams that you think have no shot of winning could potentially snatch a W, such as Alo this week. Fred's got a bunch of people on bye, and Alo has a lot of people back, so Alo could sneak a win out of the 5th place Fred this week and cause pandemonium at the top of the leaderboard. But I'm not going to do any Tweek picks. No. I'm going to do some Tweek picks, because that's a Tweek thing to do. And I totally do not agree with what Tom did on the previous podcast, assuming that I'm going to pick against Fred, even though I just picked against Fred. But, that I'm going to pick against Kolej. I really think that Kolej is actually going to win this matchup. He has a very good team. He's going to go for Jen because he has an infatuation for Jen. Not so fast. I really think that Sebi this week is going to be able to beat Jen. She's trending in the wrong direction. With Dave against Tommy D, it's going to be really difficult. We got Dave on a 2-game losing streak right now. Or actually on a 1-game losing streak. Did I just accidentally jinx myself? I think Dave's going to drop to 6-4 after this week, and that Tommy D's team is just way too good right now to handle with. And if his team doesn't cool off, he might actually go very far in the playoffs. And we got Tom O against former roomie Brian Ramos. I really think that Tom O can win that game. Looks like Brian has his entire team on bye, either that or he gave up on the season. So congratulations on your 4-game winning streak coming up there, buddy. Jesus Christ. And then we got Tweek against Solus. And what more can I say? I do always root for myself. So you got me there as well. I'm going to root for myself because, hello, you got to do that. And I got to root against Fred because, hello, you have to do that. It can't be a podcast without hating on Fred or hating on somebody just a little bit. So there you have it. Me over Solus, Tom over Brian Ramos, Tommy over Dave, Seb over Jen, Alo over Fred, Yo Mama's ass over Liquor Duty Hole Sam Squanch. And there you have it. The playoff pictures look to be settled in. Let's stay tuned in for those Week 12 matchups, because I think Seb only has one more week to officially determine it before the schedules are locked. So there you have it. Until next week, you've been not in the jungle, in my room, which literally is like a jungle. I can't see the floor.